Hello everyone, this is Demai. I'm the director of database for Alibaba Cloud. Today I'd like to have this opportunity to discuss about Redis and how Redis will serve as cache for a relational database. For example, in this tutorial, MySQL. Let's begin. Let's first talk about what is Redis. So Redis, the whole name is Remote Directory Server. In reality, it is a key-value cache service that you leverage the memory to provide high throughput, low latency as a high concurrency environment. So we can simply put for a relational database, for example, that usually can provide 5,000 up to 10,000 QPS per node. And certainly relational database can do a lot of things, and they provide structured data and can do complex query using SQL language. On the other hand, Redis is a very simple cache layer that do one thing, but do one thing very good. It provides a key value data structure and cache the data in memory and be able to provide a fast data fetch. And depends on how you configure that, open source Redis can provide roughly 100,000 QPS per node, which is about 10 times or more than regular relational database. So because of that, actually Redis ranked the top by DB Engine and at the top of the key store especially for the cache layer of the service. Okay, so I believe most people already know Redis. So let's talk about how that works and what it can do. So for example, we can do social chatting, and so every chat message can be um, like a comments that can be showed in a memory layers, and it can also be shown that okay, let's talk about what Redis can do. Uh, Maybe that can be a common section for Facebook or a ranking section for if we have a group of people who are kind of compete with each other to do how many steps exercise every day and doing a ranking. And it can provide as a social medium or the social circle and to do the social link connect each other, and can be also provide the profiling like my profile like my name, my where I'm staying. So basically Redis, because it's a simple key, the key part can be a string and the value can be anything, maybe a JSON file that for profiling can be a simple string for the comments. So let's look at how Redis fit in an enterprise solution. So usually we have a solution that starts from client application, maybe some application running on your mobile phone, and it connected to the application server that can play an order and maybe doing some real-time analytics and for business data. And that data usually stay in a data store. Many cases is a relational database behind this application server. So that's okay until there are a lot of users and need to provide high concurrency and give high throughput and request low latency. Many cases it's millisecond or sub-millisecond. Because the database have to guarantee the safe of data and the persistence of the data, database have to save the data on disk. Even for SSD, it's slower, much slower than memory, and that latency cannot be reached to millisecond. Here come to the data cache layer. Redis is fitting into this cache layer, like the red box in the middle of this PPT. What happens is they have a server that have high memory capacity. Redis will cache the data in this layer. So if an application need to fetch some data or write some data, they will, especially for the read, they will check the cache layer first. If the data already in the cache layer and still valid, so the data will be retrieved from the cache layer instead of go to the database. If not there, so certainly as all the cache, they have to send this request to database and return to the application. But at the same time, they will refresh the cache layer and put that result there. So next time they can be retrieved much faster. So did for the write. So that's it's as simple as that. That's for the cache layer. And the Redis coming in did exactly for this reason. Okay, so in this case, we will just use this tutorial to write some simple application to demonstrate that. So in this case, we pretend we are in a high concurrency environment. A lot of users want to fetch the match result of Rose Ball games. So for who do not know Rose Ball, you can go to the Wikipedia and look at what the Rose Ball means for football fan in United States. We will look at the architecture design, the overall architecture design. So in this case, we will use Alibaba Cloud's Singapore region, which we will have 3 products in there. From the left is the ECS. This is the computation resource. You can imagine it's just a Linux virtual machine that we allocate to write some application, running some application on it. And in the middle is the Redis that provide also in the same region by Alibaba Cloud. For the database engine, here we use MySQL, which just because MySQL is one of the most popular open source relational database. And certainly this database can be any others like PostgreSQL, can be Alibaba's own PoloDB, and certainly can be other like the SQL Server, and can also be other data store, NoSQL data store. So here is what we have. And I'm just listing some this ECS MySQL's setup there. And for the ECS is a Linux machine. I use a very small machine because we don't really run much. And I do have a internet IP address because I want to connect it to my laptop here, which is the Mac machine. And both MySQL and Redis are inside the same VPC as ECS, but they have no external endpoint, so that that's a safety net that the user can only access this MySQL or Redis server through the ECS and cannot to access from the external internet. And here the MySQL is 8.0 and is also a small machine, and the maximum connection for this particular MySQL is 4,000 connections. And the Redis is Redis 5.0, and for this one, it has maximum connections 40,000, which is much higher than the MySQL machine. That is the whole purpose of having the Redis here. And for this Redis, I actually using multi-zone access. So I have both zone A and zone C, so provide high availability for the Redis. This is also a safety net for the high concurrency environment. In case something wrong for one of the zone, we will automatically switch to another one, which is still with that without the application interruption here. This is the simple architecture of this Redis. For this Redis, we have 8 proxies so that it can also taking care more connections, that how the connection with through, okay? And we do have this endpoint address here, which is only visible to the internal uh, machines that are within the same VPC. Okay, to write these Java applications, I want to list this environment. I will use the Linux machine, virtual machine on the ECS is the CentOS that I just imaged here. And I use Java 1.8 both for the compiler and the runtime virtual machine. And to write this application, I do leverage 3 jars here. First one is Redis, which is Java client application jar that for Redis. And I do have this JSON jar which comes from org.json is because I like to use the retrieve the MySQL result and first build it into a JSON object. And the last one is a very common one for the MySQL connections so that I can connect to MySQL code, MySQL server through my Java application. Okay, enough of the talk. And as I always say, let's show me the code. Here is the 4 code I will show you, I will use in this whole tutorial. First is the bash RC, which is the environment setup for my my ECS Linux machine. And I just use that for convenience. Certainly that's not your production setup. It won't be that simple, okay? And I will use 2 SQL statement SQL file here. One is this rosebud SQL, which is for the create the popular table in MySQL. Another the query that the SQL, which is just the SQL query I will use. I just want to put in there so I can easily to copy paste during this tutorial or presentation. The last one is a single Java file that contains the whole application logic here. And I will talk about this logic while I show you the code. I already write it, so I will not take your time to see me slowly typing out code here. Okay, let's start here. Okay. Now you see my terminal, which is the terminal that on my Mac. What I will do is I will connect to my ECS on SSH connection to my my ECS machine in Singapore region. Okay, I will use okay, now I'm logging in. The first as we will show you this file. Okay. It's very simple because I just clear up everything else. So one thing is I need to set up my class path really to make sure my Java compiler and the Java application can access the jar file here. I already pre-installed my Java compiler on this machine, by the way, and also pre-installed my SQL client on this ECS machine. Okay. And this for the so this we had talked about the class path for the jar dependency files, and this is the aliens I set up so that I can connect to my MySQL server on command line of this ECS machine. And that to save me some trouble, I do put in the Redis URL and the MySQL URL here. And certainly I have my database username, database password here, and my database name is my text. So this is the file for the environment. Okay, creating here. And the next one, let me go to my code. By the way, this is the class path I just show you. I just want to show you I have the jar here, and I do have some of, sorry, missed this here. I have this rosebud one. I'm show you the code here. So it's very simple. I will drop this rosebud table here if it already exists, and create the first column, the date that happened on the game day, the winner, the opponents, which I don't want to use the name loser here. So I do copy out the data. The data come from the Wikipedia, and since I'm doing that manually, I'm just only have the past 30 games. The data here, and the whole rosebud actually have been playing, I think, for probably more than 100 years already. So this is the file. Quit here, and I will show you the next file. Okay, here we go. Actually, this is for the copy paste purpose. So I don't know what's going on here. Seems my screen doesn't work very well. I don't know why, but okay, still able to show all the result. No, I'm not typing this. It just happened here. So these are the queries I will use, and I will later copy paste it, okay, to my console. And this is just to fetch different of the data from this table. Okay, the last one is the code Redis cache Java, and that's the application. Certainly, for your real world, that application will be much more complex there. But now we only demonstrate how to set up the connections and how to retrieve the cache and refresh the cache. Okay, this is the top of the file. You can see that is we get one jar in the JD IDs there. That is for the Java Redis client. This is for the MySQL connectors, or the Java.SQL, and the Java.utility is actually come from Java directly, and this is come from the JSON jar. Okay, that's pretty much what I need. So basically here, we already talk about where it's running and the environment, so I'm not going to go through this. So we have one class which is the class is just the Java, the Redis cache, and we do have a static method here. The whole method is to get the result from MySQL, and it passes in the connectors and the query string. So basically, this is a very simple Java example code how to retrieve some result from this query result. And basically, we already assume we have a connection that passes in, and we have the statement, which is the query. And so we have a result set, which is by assume the query. And also we grab the metadata of the statement here. And so because of metadata, we know how many number of columns, which by the way is 3 here. And now we have the JSON object. We will do a loop, the while loop, which is keep getting the next row. And for this for loop, it loops through the number of columns, and to get the column result, put it as the JSON object into this JSON array out of the while loop. And at the end, we will get the length of this array, which is equal to how many total rows of this result. Close the statement and return this JSON array. By the way, this is really nothing to do with Redis at this moment. And you can certainly, if you choose to use the string, will be totally fine. So you don't have to use JSON. It just, in many cases, JSON is much easier to use here. That's one important thing. I do declare a time to live value. This is for Redis key. So by default, Redis, every key of Redis have a life cycle. And here I use, well, this is the 5. Let me change it to 10 just for me to easily to demonstrate later. 5 is too short. So by doing that, you literally will see how I use this constant to set up each key. Now we have it, and we will use this environment variable to set up the access. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, for this particular Redis server, I choose to enable to access without passcode access. So that means I didn't set up a password, and so any all the application within the same VPC can access this Redis server without a passcode. Okay, since I already have VPC protect and this testing environment, it should be okay. And for MySQL, I do need to have this endpoint and also have the username as I show the password, the DB name to access there. Okay, set up the Redis connection. As always, I grab the environment variable, which by the way, we just show you how we set up it, which is in the bash rc. And we do a connection. And here, it just do a testing to see by the way, access or not. Okay. Now set up these MySQL connections. The same thing here, set up, grab all the environmental variable, and I will get the first SQL query using the scanner. By the way, here, because a simple demonstration, I didn't test whether this query is a valid SQL query, and it will through error message and terminate this whole program if the input string is not a valid query. Okay. Now in a try, because we set up a connection, just try to catch all the exceptions. So we get this MySQL collector connection. In this program, I will use the passcode exit or quit. So if I want to quit this while loop, here we will get the result from Redis cache. Use the query string. This query string is the key value part of the key in Redis. So if the result is not null, means we have a hit. That means we grab the result directly from Redis cache and get the result. If not, we know it's not in the cache. The cache means what happened. Let's go call that a method we just discussed earlier to get the whole result. And because the whole result is a JSON array, so I use the toString here and to really kind of serialize that. So with result, it comes from MySQL and print out the result. Here it's important. Since it's not currently in cache yet, let's send that result in cache. In this setter, the query is the key, the result is the value. Both is a string data type. And regardless where this particular key value setup is come from, the particular query result come from Redis or come from MySQL, we will set up this TTL. Oh, by the way, we just changed that from 5 to 10. Okay, so that if the cache come from if the result come from Redis cache, that means we reset off the clock. So it have another 10 seconds to live. If the result comes directly from MySQL, we also set the life cycle for 10 seconds here. And here we ask for the next SQL query. Scan in. And if something wrong, well, we will throw an error message. So that's pretty much it of this whole query. Since we just changed that value, I like to do a compile to make sure everything okay. Hope works. No, I cannot do it yet. I cannot run it because remember I didn't really set up the username and the password in batch RC yet. Okay, let's make a stop and I will welcome back and I was able to change the batch RC so that I can put my username and password of my MySQL server in that batch RC as an environment variable. By the way, and it's not recommended to put your password in there as a blank text. We are doing a tutorial and so it's okay, and I will remove that later. Okay, let's first test it if I can connect to MySQL. Okay, it's there, and I need to see whether I have my database in there or not. Okay, I already created this the my test, so I'm fine. I'm good. So let me exit, and now I have my SQL. Okay, not in there yet. Okay. So I will go ahead and run that particular SQL file, which as we showed before, what we do is we create this table and insert something in there. Okay, and just without logging there, I just want to, if I able to get all that information in there, whether I created a table and insert all the 30 rows successful or not. Okay, so we have it. So now it's good. And I have all this one, and I will go ahead run that particular application, Java Redis cache. Okay, so here we know that we are able to connect the Redis server already, and also we here need to ask for SQL query. Here we have to, we will ask for a query, which is to get what's in that row for that particular day, the first day of the 1999. Okay, we got the result, and that result is come from MySQL. And I do run the very same query again, and that result comes from the Redis cache already. So cool. And I'm keep talking. Hopefully I will already talk for more than 10 seconds. Yes, I did. So the result comes from MySQL again, cache again. So now I will demonstrate this. I will do something similar. I will get the same result. However, this time I use the year and date, which is not the same as the period SQL statement, so that it's not cache. So you get the result from MySQL instead of cache from the Redis. Okay. So we will run a couple other things. As simple as this query, because the query as a string, so we didn't do anything fancy. But the string, if the string not match with node, it will go directly from MySQL, and this is to count how many times Wisconsin win the Super Bowl game, which is 3 or know it. Do again, so come from the Redis cache. As you can see, this time the before is a point select, So sometimes the cache may not really work that much because we already will have a result cache in MySQL cache layer. However, we do a const star with aggregated. That can take a much more longer computation and may need to retrieve all the data from MySQL. So the result, if we get a result and the cache in the Redis cache, we don't have to go to MySQL and do the all computation anymore. So that's the big save here. Okay, already more than 10 seconds, I believe. I have to do it again. Yes, but now it's in the cache. And let's see how many times the top winner. So this query, if you have, imagine you have millions or hundreds of million rows, this query, which is do a group by and order by to find the top winners, how many times they win a rose ball. Assuming we have one rose ball for hundreds of million years. This can be a very heavy computation, and the first time we run it, we have to go through MySQL, but the second time we go to the Redis cache. So that's the whole purpose of Redis cache, and we just demonstrate how this code should be read. And this, by the way, the read only at this moment, and maybe for the next episode, we'll talk about how to read and write. Great, cool. So to close out this episode, we'll go to the very last page of my presentation, lines of the code. And for the Redis, there's many deployment options, and there can be a single Redis and can be a cluster. Cluster actually using a shard kind of environment so that it can kind of scale out kind of things so we can serve more concurrency connections. And at the same time, for high availability, we can have master and slave, and also we can have master and slave with read and write split. So that's all kind of different deployment options that can be currently provided by Alibaba Cloud. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.